Hi there, I've got my Winsor and Newton palette here and I've got some Winsor and Newton colours, and I thought I'd try this Payne's Grey. And I've seen other artists use it with colours and it just gives a really rich colour, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I've got Purple Lake that I'm mixing it with. So I've put the Purple Lake in my little palette there, in my little well, and then I'm just adding a little bit of this Payne's Grey. First time I've done this, so I'm a bit unsure how it's going to turn out, so I thought I'd better try it on a spare piece of paper. So I've got my watercolour, cold press watercolour paper there, and I've just added it, and I quite like the way that looks. I think I'm going to bring that down and then just add a little bit more of those colours and just see whether I like that. And I think I do. It's a lovely rich colour, so I thought I'd use it today in today's tuition. So we've got cold press watercolour paper all pressed down, and I thought we'd just do some lovely little flowers. And all it is some squiggly little lines going round and making a flower, and then pressing the brush down on the page to make some leaves. And then some berry shapes here, small little circle shapes, and again another little flower. So what I'm doing, what you can't actually see, which is actually out of the screen, I'm picking up some of that purple, and then I am not washing my brush. I'm just going in and then adding another colour, which is the Rose Permanent. So going in, grabbing a little bit of that, then putting that on the page, then going back to my original colour to darken that centre up, going back to the original colour again to add some berries and some little leaf shapes here, and then I'll go back into that rose colour to pinken it up a little bit. So it's a sort of combination of all those three colours. So we've got the Purple Lake, we've got the Permanent Rose, and we've got the Payne's Grey, and they're sort of all being mixed together on the brush. So I'm just adding some more details, some little leaves here and there. And I'm just going with the flow, not really thinking about it, just knowing that I want some flowers and some leaf shapes, so some foliage here and there, and I just want to fill up the space. So just continuing round and doing that. Now I have seen other artists do this. I have seen them use the Payne's Grey, and one of the artists that I've seen doing this is Kate Rebecca Leach. I think she does that with quite a lot of her colours, adds this Payne's Grey, and it really deepens the colour. I've seen her do it with greens, I've seen her do it with blues, and also pinks. And she does a very similar picture that's on her Instagram page, so you could go over and have a look at that. Very similar to what I'm doing here, and that's where I really got my inspiration from to do this. I first of all just wanted to try it, and then I decided that I would carry on and paint this picture. So I've let all of that paint dry, and I've grabbed my gold acrylic ink, and I thought it'd be kind of cute to add some little round dots. I just want to pretty this up. It looks very plain, very flat when you've just got your watercolour, but I thought adding the acrylic ink, we're going to add some pens in there. It'll just make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm just adding some of that gold ink in some of those circles. If you haven't got a gold acrylic ink, you could use normal ink or gold paint. Whatever you have, don't worry about it. So, selection of pens. I've got a Uniball gold pen. I've also got a Uniball white pen. I've got my white Posca pen. And I am just going to have a look at the page and think to myself, how can I pretty this up a little bit? And I'm just adding some little dots, some little lines, anything that comes to mind really. Circling some of those acrylic ink marks there, and then doing some lines down at the stalk of these leaves, and just continuing round. So anything comes to mind, just put it in. If you want to use pencils, that would look good as well. It's whatever you've got to hand. Just give it a go, see what happens. Again, circling these acrylic ink marks there, and I think it's looking really nice. And then I've sort of split the leaf in half and just doing down the one side a little bit of detail. And I think that looks rather cute. They look a little bit like butterflies, I think, those two there. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Is this something you're going to try? Something you'd like to do? Very easy, as you can see. So I've got my white pen here and I'm doing some little stitchy marks, and that looks as though I've sewn on top of there and then just doing some circles there. So I really like doing the stitchy marks. I think they look really, really good. Looks as though you've just sewn on there, and I'm just adding some little dots at the end of those little stitch marks, and then it looks as though where you put the needle in, that little hole where your stitch goes in. So that looks really, really cute, I think. Maybe you don't, but let me know in the comments, and I think I'm going to do it on this flower as well. You know, when you do something once and you think, oh, I quite like that. Well, I thought that and I thought, well, this flower needs a bit of stitching too. So I've just added that detail there. So I've got my gold and just circling some of the details there, doing some marks on the leaves here, and slowly working my way down the page. Now you may be a little bit random. You might want to do the white first, then the gold second. I'm sort of moving from one pen to another as I sort of move down the page. But it doesn't matter. Whichever way you want to do this, just go with how you feel. I always hate it when you're coming to the end of a page and I'm thinking, oh, I really want to continue doing this. But there really isn't that much room. I mean, I can see a bit of white space, but I think I'll ruin it if I continue. So I've warmed up the tape with a hairdryer to make sure it's nice and sticky so that this tape pulls off and doesn't rip my page, and I'm going to bring this up so you can see the lovely detail. As I flick it round, you can see that gold shining in the light, and I think it's turned out well. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you've liked this. Maybe you'll like, maybe you'll leave me a comment, maybe you'll subscribe, and then you get to see all the new things that I have coming out. Well, thanks ever such a lot for spending the time. I've really had fun and I hope to see you again soon. Okay then, thanks. Bye.